Friday, October 11th, 2013. This is Blue Sky's Truth Radio. Good afternoon, good morning, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Blue Sky's Truth Radio. You are in the right place. Thank you very much for tuning in. We have a very special guest in the studio with us, Mark from truthseekers.com. We wanted to take a moment to elaborate on the dangers of GMOs and how they are using food as a weapon. You know, it's my firm belief that we should all be growing food: spinach, lettuce, tomatoes, kale, chives, whatever you can, and wherever you are. Anyone can grow anywhere. Trust me, wherever you are, you can grow it now. Mark, what are you looking at, brother?
Well, you know, this issue of GMO crops and food being used as a weapon, it's not something new. In the winter of 1936 to 1937, Joseph Stalin he starved to death 7 million Ukrainians. Ukraine was the breadbasket of Europe. They produced more grain than any other region. And that fall, he harvested all the grain and shipped it out of Ukraine, and the whole world watched 7 million. There's newspaper articles that are archived. You can read them, and this happened. It's just one example. However, go back 152 to the mid-1700s. There was a guy named Malthus, and he proposed the what was known as the Malthusian Catastrophe, and it was his idea was that he was a eugenicist, and some of his ideas were used as the foundation for the French Revolution, which killed a whole bunch of people. Anyways, Malthus basically said, look, there's not enough resources and food to feed everyone, so we got to kill a whole bunch of people. Otherwise, we're going to starve. That was the Malthusian Catastrophe. And so this goes back. It's nothing new. Anyways, North America used to be known as the breadbasket of the world in the mid-1900s. We produced so much grain and we exported it to the world. And there was no starvation. There were stockpiles of 7 years of grain here within our own borders. And we exported so much grain that there were surpluses. Every year there were massive surpluses. Why? Because we had farms that were family-owned and family-run farms that had been in families for generations. And a plan was set to steal all these people's land and put them all out of business so that factory farming could come in and take over the food supply. So in the 70s, the bankers... Okay, watch a movie called Torn from the Land. Toronto Truth Seekers handed out hundreds of these down at Yonge and Dundas on our street actions. I subtitled it, How International Bankers Killed the Family Farm. Because that's exactly what they did. They encouraged farmers. They manipulated grain prices up artificially. Grain prices were through the roof, and the farmers are going, wow, look how much we're getting for our grain. The bankers went, you look at these big, awesome $250,000 combines. Buy them. You'll be able to increase your grain production tenfold. You'll make 10 times as much money. People are greedy. They took out loans. They bought these big combines. And all this, they mortgaged their farms to buy all this massive equipment. Now they're on the hook to the bank, okay? Now the banks got their farms as collateral, okay? They crashed the grain prices while they skyrocketed the interest rates at the same time.
Ooh. Double whammy.
So then you had benefit concerts, you had Farm Aid, you had Willie Nelson and Neil Young doing benefit concerts, You had John Cougar Mellencamp singing Blood on the Scarecrow, Rain on the Scarecrow, Blood on the Plow. It was a hit song. It was about farmer foreclosure, man. This went on through the 70s.
Holy, we'll be back in a minute. Hey, it's Ryan from Blue Skies Radio. Do you eat food? Do you have a backyard? Do you have a balcony? Do you have a window? If you answered yes to any of these questions, you should be growing food. If you're not growing food, what are you thinking? You might be thinking it's a little bit too difficult. You don't know how to start. Well, give us a call at TorontoWormCompany.com and we'll show you how anyone can grow anywhere. 416-839-4769. It's your right to grow. I wasn't eating enough fruits or vegetables, that's why I turned to Beyond Tangy Tangerine. It's a unique multivitamin mineral complex in powdered form, a natural antioxidant that packs a whopping 115 fruits and vegetables within it to support optimal health and a healthy immune, cardiovascular, and digestive system. Give us a call today at 416-839-4769. That's 416-839-GROW. Mark was telling us about Farm Aid going on back in the 70s. You know, those of us who are not that old don't even know about these actions that were going on in the 70s. We all know about Farm Aid as a recent event that was happening. And there's so much stuff that's happening. Nothing is new under the sun. Where does that come from?
Well, it may have been... Oh, what? It's right out of scripture, dude.
Love it. Love it. God is great. Oh, tell us,
pardon
Mark.
me. Okay, they got the farmers on the hook through the late 70s. They crashed the grain prices in the early 80s. Okay, but this was not an overnight plan. It took a little while. So the Farm Aid stuff was going on early mid 80s. Yeah. So anyways, there they got the land. They've got the farmers off the land, the people who know how to work the land, who have been doing it generationally. It's in their blood. Okay? Now they've got the people's land. And the people who are producing our food are no longer producing our food. They're bankrupt. They're unemployed. They don't have the capacity to produce food anymore. So in comes factory farming. Factory farming's been in place a while, and now it's going into overdrive with GMO. The greed, these guys' greed knows no limits.
With their GMOs and their CAFOs and their toxic cow farts. Talk about the toxicity of these CAFOs.
I don't know.
CAFO, Concentrated Animal Feeding Operations.
I'm ignorant.
Aren't we all?
I have no knowledge of these farms.
Well, what about these? It's just craziness. It's almost like these almond farms that they're growing in California, where they just have hundreds and hundreds of acres of nothing but almonds.
Oh, no rotation of crops is what you're talking about.
Well, the CAFOs are the concentrated animal farming operations where they have thousands and millions of animals, but all in one location. You can fly over and see it's like an acre of land or whatever, right? And they're just so much destruction is coming out of that little spot of land from these concentrated animal farming operations. They're known as CAFOs. I'll send you an email about it.
Okay, no, I was unfamiliar with the acronym, but this phenomenon, yes, I've seen it.
Yeah, it's dangerous, man.
There's so many words that could be used.
Yeah. And then you combine that with the fact that they're doing the monocrops, right? The mono agriculture. When they're only growing the almonds, so the bees, they have to import the bees now to pollinate the almond trees. And it's like a giant bee orgy with bees all over the world because there's no natural bees left. And also because they're growing so much almond that when they don't pollinate for the other 50 weeks of the year, there's no bee food around. They have to fly forever, just to...
Okay. I know everyone's concerned about GMOs because everyone's concerned about their health. Because everyone's afraid of dying. No one wants to die. And that's why people are concerned about their health, and that's why this issue of GMOs is such a big issue. And, we've got a lot of people in the truth movement who are into organic farming, and these are important issues, because everyone wants to be healthy. No one wants to get sick. No one wants to die, because everyone fears death, because on the other side is the unknown. The only people who I've ever met who don't fear death are those who know that they're saved. And so these issues that you're so concerned about, the GMO, yeah, it's bad. But you know what, if it kills me, the enemy doesn't win. Because I've been washed with the blood of Christ.
Very powerful indeed. They will use any tactic, too. The enemy will use any tactic and every tactic. The worst of all is getting you to believe that God doesn't exist, too. That's the best one.
White is black and black is white. They've got the enemy, and the education system has successfully got everyone believing the opposite of truth.
That's pretty crazy. We're going to pop into a break. Mark's telling us that believing the opposite of truth is the enemy's goal. Take a look at the King James Version Bible. Let me know what you think. See you in a minute. Have you ever wanted to fly? The very first time I saw my father fly by with his rollerblades, I knew that was something I wanted to do. 25 years later, I'm a trained professional. Hi, I'm Ryan from TorontoWormCompany.com, and I'm here to let you know that rollerblading is the best feeling I've ever had in my life. Take it from me, I've been skydiving, I've been go-karting, I've even gone swimming with sharks, but nothing compares to that feeling I get when I rollerblade. The wind blowing in your hair, people are smiling at you, they all want to do it. You can see it in their eyes, they just want to grab some skates and skate with you. Well, now's your chance, world. Give me a call at 416-839-4769 and you can learn to fly. Ooh, yeah, I love that Blue Skies radio. Dig it. You are now listening to Toronto's most favorite radio station. This is Blue Skies Radio, where we tune in, we get informed, we grow together, and we have some laughs. Tune in every day of the week, Monday through Friday. Final segment of the show. Thank you very much for tuning in. Very exciting. I hope to see you there tomorrow at the rally, March Against Monsanto version 2. And even if you're not in Toronto, no matter where you're marching, know that we march together. We are with you, and that's fantastic. It's growing every day. So Mark was telling us these issues are very important and they're very dangerous, but an even bigger issue is knowing your God.
Absolutely, brother. And the enemy's number one job is to keep you separated from God. And when I say the enemy, I mean there are evil forces on a spiritual realm. We wrestle not against flesh and blood. The media has convinced us all that they've given evil a face with red horns, and they've convinced everyone that if we see evil, we'll recognize it. And so because we don't see it, it's not there, because we can't recognize it. You can't see it. But you don't need a weatherman to know which way the wind blows, man. You see a paper blowing across the street. You can't see the wind, but you know it's there because it's the force that's pushing the paper. And so, just because you can't see it, you can't see evil.
I've got a few friends.
These guys who are running Monsantos, they got suits and ties. They look respectable. They're not evil. They're not the persona. They don't look evil. You've been trained to recognize evil as something else.
That's really interesting. That brings us to our quote of the day.
This quote brought to you by Toronto Worm Company, where anyone can grow
Herbs. Oh my God. Read the quote.
Diet, injections, and injunctions will combine from a very early age to produce the sort of character and the sort of beliefs that the authorities consider desirable. And any serious criticism of the powers that be will become psychologically impossible. Bertrand Russell. That quote was brought to you by Toronto Worm Company, where anyone can grow anywhere.
Thank you very much for that quote, Mark. So you read a quote from Bertrand Russell. Bertrand. I don't know any Bertrands. Who is this guy?
Well, Bertrand Russell, he was a culture creator for the New World Order. One of the things he is known for is he gave the hippies their symbol, the peace sign. That's actually, imagine an upside down cross, and you break the arms. When you're initiated into witchcraft, one of the rituals is the broken cross ritual. All the Nazi SS soldiers, look at their grave markers. They're upside down cross with broken arms. That symbol means you reject Christ. And Bertrand Russell, well, the hippie movement and the free love movement was used as part of the destruction of the family agenda. And so Bertrand Russell thought, well, while we got these little hippies doing culture creation, let's all get them to reject Christ too. And so we're going to give them this symbol as the peace sign, tell them it means peace, and they'll all use it and wear it, and they won't know that in reality it means you reject Jesus Christ as your Lord and Savior.
That is crazy. There is so much symbolism going on, and there's stuff that people don't even know about. And then there are things that people know about, like, you know, people know about the one eye, people know about the triangle, people know about the eye at the top.
See, I'm not smart. I'm not that smart. I'm not smarter than anyone else. It's just that I've had a lot of time to consume a lot of information, and some of it I've remembered. Other people before me have spent their lives doing research, and I've just piggybacked off them. I've just consumed their information. They've distilled it and boiled it down and made it digestible, and I'm trying to do the same thing for others.
And would you agree that the Bible is the best source of information that you've ever come across?
It's mind-boggling, brother, because I never picked up a Bible, I never read a Bible, I was not religious, I was a zeitgeister, I did reject Christ. I rejected the idea of a God. I liked George Carlin, but as I continued to ask questions and search, I was led to the ultimate truth.
What is zeitgeist? What does that mean? And what is the new arrivals? The arrivals. What is that?
Okay, well, the arrivals was put together by the Wake Up Project. It's like zeitgeist for Muslims. Zeitgeist, the word zeitgeist, it's German, it means spirit of the time, I think. The Zeitgeist movie, the first one, was used they opened with 9/11, and so they kind of suckered in all the 9/11 truthers in with the first part, but they never talked about 9/11 again after that.
Wow, and then they were able to use that in order to say that God wasn't real?
To continue deceiving people. Yeah, they deceive people to keep people separate from their creator.
On the way out, Mark, what would you say to the people right now was the most important thing for them to do?
Well, don't stop searching for truth, because if you continue searching for truth, you'll discover that Jesus Christ is the creator of the universe. He's God who manifested into flesh and came here and sacrificed himself for us. And you know what? We all got a pardon, man. And in law, a pardon is not valid if you don't accept it.
Wow, accept it, ladies and gentlemen. We love you.
Yeah, I love that Blue Skies Radio.
Dug it.
We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time.